make sure I got approval from my boss to start. So, okay, welcome. I appreciate you being out for our 444 meeting. Let me just briefly go over the agenda and then we'll get right to it. So what we'll do initially is make some new faculty introductions. Then we'll get into our AR award. We'll have Tanya take roll call for those that you can't figure out who's on the call and who's not. So bear with us and be patient on that. And then we'll get into the in-service portion of our call. I want to talk a little bit about student engagement. I've got like a 10-minute video, so hopefully you can hang out long enough to listen to that. We'll talk about some of the takeaways of that video. And then we'll get into what we've been working on in terms of what we call our career readiness strategy. What we're looking to do is ultimately get something that's career readiness oriented in every single course that we deliver here at Vista College. And then finally, we'll wrap up with Kimberly Bosley. She'll be talking about our new career strategies course. So that is our lineup for tonight. So why don't we go ahead and start with the new faculty introductions. Take it away, Sherry and Tracy. Sherry, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Excellent. Sorry, I had to find the mute button. We have two new faculty in the Gen Ed department. Dr. Audra Stinson has a doctorate in family psychology. She is a therapist, and in addition, she has been an online instructor at many universities for, oh gosh, Audra, I shouldn't even tell them how many years, should I? And we are thrilled to have her teach our psychology classes and the Intro PUFT 1450 course, which she started with this month. Welcome, Audra. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
You've been doing a great job for us.
Thank you.
And then our other new instructor in the Gen Ed is Jenna Powell. And Jenna has a master's in education. She has been working in career services, for a number of years. She's taught at a number of online schools. She has helped people get jobs and retain students, and worked on student outreach. She's a perfect fit for our school, and she has been teaching career strategies. So thank you, Jenna. Welcome to our team. Tracy, it's on you.
All right. We have two new faculty in allied health. One is Dr. Mary Alex. Mary actually sat on our online pack for a little over a year. And she's coming to the Bachelor's of Healthcare Administration program, which is our bachelor's program. She's coming from the mental health side, so I'm looking forward to that. And I hope I know she will bring a lot of experience to the classroom. And then we've got Miss Sharon Turner, who also came to us from the PAC, from another PAC member. So she's actually in the Dallas area. She's also been adjuncting for a little while. And she also does medical billing on the side.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Well, welcome aboard. We're grateful that you've joined our team. If there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, welcome aboard. We're excited to have you on the team.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Perfect. All right, Sherry, I believe you are up for the AR award.
I am, and this is totally exciting because I have spent all month monitoring this one class that has had every single student post pretty much by Tuesday, their initial post. We're talking a class of 15 students. The outreach in this class has been so fantastic that every student has completed their assignments. I am so impressed this month, I can't even tell you. So the instructor of the month with the AR award is Mark Pareda. And Mark, I know I totally mispronounce your name every time. But Mark, if you could share what amazing things you are doing this month. I am telling you, I have never seen anything like it.
I wish I knew. No,
your outreach is incredible. I'll tell you that right now. I've checked.
Yeah, my students this month have been really good. I was, you know me, sure, I work late at night, and I was on the computer last night about 1 o'clock, and I had a student text me about 1:30 for some help. So, I always tell them, hey, I'm up late at night. So, I try to be out there. I don't know. I do a lot of posting, trying to give them update on every announcement or every email. I always put my phone number so they can call me. I always tell them, call me up, text me or something, and I'll get to you back a lot quicker. So it's been working. I'm hoping I get the same students for next class. If you can arrange that, that would be great too. So
It's not the students. I know the students' GPAs. It's you. You've done a fantastic job this month of motivating students who sometimes need a little extra motivation. And that's, again, something for us all to note. I know I don't have a lot of time here, but just remember, even when a student seems impossible, I know I sent a meme to my students or to my teachers the other day. It's all in how you feel about it. So sometimes if you believe it, you can do it. And sometimes that's what it takes to motivate. Okay, Art, I give you the floor. Sorry.
I think you're doing great. I don't think Mark minds at all. We'll go ahead and send you a 6-pack of light bulbs, Mark, for an award.
I appreciate it. I could use it. I can put some light.
No, you won't. You'll give them to the neighbor. You're not gonna use them. All right. Well, congratulations. So I believe what's up next is Tanya making sure she's got the roll correct. So Tanya, you're up.
Sure. If I call your name, please let me know that you're here. Amanda Hardwick. Amy Morrison. Antoine Lewis. Cassandra McDade.
She sent you a thing saying she wasn't going.
Oh, thank you. Charlotte Scott. Corey Ellis. Dennis Onalaha.
Dennis is here.
Thank you. Doug Bristow. Aaron Etherington.
Yep, I'm here.
Thank you, Aaron. Jerry Gordon. Glenda Lloyd.
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks, Glenda.
Yes, Glenda.
Thank you. James Fountain. Kay Porter.
I saw James on here. I just think he's muted. He's on the list, or he was in here for a couple minutes at least.
James Fountain was. Okay, thank you. Kay Porter.
James Porter's here.
Kay Porter. Thank you, James.
Oh, okay.
Kristen Mercer. Nathan Mitchell. Sabrina Delonzo. Sandy McDonald.
I'm here.
Thank you. That's Sandy, right?
Yep.
Okay, and Trudy Thomas. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
But you didn't call me.
I got you down.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, these are the folks that she doesn't quite figure out.
Oh, good.
We don't want to leave anybody out. It's pretty clear who you are, and your face is right there. And I don't know who the dog is, but we have it pretty figured out.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move on into the in-service part of our getting together. And let me just kind of tee this up before Carson starts the video. So what we've been working with our marketing people is going over what we think we can make unique about what it is to be a Vista College student. So right now, it's really coming down to a three-legged stool approach. Obviously, most of you know we're working with evidence-based curriculum. We want to get that in every single course, in every single program, and we're working towards that. That's one part of the stool. The other part is student engagement, and we're working very, very hard to even get better at that. We've done a very good job of that, as most of you know, over the last year and a half. And the last part of the three-legged stool is career readiness. We are a career college, so it seems like it would be obvious that that's what we would focus on, but we're making an effort to make sure that that's a part of everything that we do, every course, every program. So with that in mind, this student engagement video is one that we use. It's basically off of Brandman University. They do use Blackboard as an LMS, so don't get too concerned about that. But there are a number of takeaways, I believe, in terms of how to go about teaching online. Some of it will be stuff you already know. They'll talk a little bit about asynchronous and synchronous learning. They'll get into some practical strategies. We'll get into what an active online presence would look like. So just listen, then we'll download a little bit of some of the pieces that we get out of it. Then we'll turn our attention to the career readiness subject. And again, we'll have Kimberly speak to us about the latest and the greatest on our career strategies course. So without any further ado, let's start the video.
Welcome to Best Practices for Online Instruction, Improving Student Engagement. This video will explore 7 strategies to engage students to help bring your instruction to the next level and to ensure the highest quality experience at Brandman University.
The first strategy is to get to know your learner. Let's take a look at some statistics that will shed light on our Brandman students.
At Brandman, because an overwhelming majority of our students are adult learners, we've adopted the IDEAL philosophy for instruction.
IDEAL stands for Instructional Design for Engaged Adult Learners. This means that our courses are learning-centered rather than teacher-centered. It also means we use technology to enhance and activate the learning experience. Additionally, we integrate synchronous and asynchronous instructional opportunities with independent and collaborative online learning.
The Brandman IDEAL philosophy aligns with what we know is unique about adult learners. They prefer self-direction in learning. They bring a vast reservoir of experience that should be considered in planning learning experiences. They exhibit a readiness to learn that is based on a need to know something or do something. They exhibit an orientation to learning that is task or problem-centered rather than subject-centered. And they exhibit a relatively high degree of internal motivation.
Now that we have looked at our Brandman students and the IDEAL philosophy, let's examine some practical strategies you can take as an instructor to further develop connections with your students. During synchronous class meetings, use polls to check in with students or to check for understanding so that you can modify your approach in real time. Additionally, use questionnaires or surveys throughout the course to help you gather data about your students. And whenever applicable, encourage students to share personal and professional experiences that connect to course content, especially during asynchronous discussions.
The next strategy is to begin the course by setting clear expectations for students. We know from research that there are significant correlations between clarity, consistency, and simplicity of course design and students' perceived learning in online courses. These findings support the need for clear goals and expectations for students.
So what practical strategies can instructors use to communicate clear goals and expectations? First, clearly state the hours you are available and what your policy is on responding to students. This way, students know how best to contact you and when to expect a response. Next, establish norms for student behavior and interaction to ensure that communication will remain positive and professional. Refer students to the online etiquette video in the Start Here button for more information. Although it may seem obvious, it's helpful to remind students to review the syllabus so they know what to expect during the term. Another helpful tip is to provide scaffolding and reminders for major assignments. Lastly, don't forget to clarify any specific expectations that are unique to you as an instructor. For example, communicate to students if you expect them to cite sources in the discussion board.
One of the most important strategies for engaging students is to establish an active online presence. In fact, research has shown that the online instructor's presence is associated with effective instruction, greater depth of learning, and learner satisfaction with the learning process.
As an instructor, it is important to create communication bridges. to establish your role as a facilitator and mentor. Also, it's important to maintain a highly visible social and teaching presence in the Blackboard shell, providing opportunities to virtually connect with students through synchronous and asynchronous activities.
Here are some practical strategies for developing an active online presence. First, create a personalized welcome to class announcement to establish the tone and build excitement for the start of the term. Next, make sure to add a robust bio with a photo and course information so that students have the opportunity to get to know you and your expertise. Another way to be present for students is to establish weekly virtual office hours so that students can stop by and ask questions as needed. Don't forget to use announcements throughout the course and be active in the discussion boards, responding to students directly and to the group as a whole. We also recommend that you host synchronous class meetings during the term. Make sure to record the synchronous meetings and post the link in an announcement for students to review at their convenience.
One of the most important tasks of an instructor is providing prompt and effective feedback that guides the learner to a greater understanding of course content and improves student engagement.
Chickering and Gamson wrote that feedback allows students to assess existing knowledge, reflect on what they have learned and what they still need to learn, and receive suggestions for improvement of future work.
But what is good feedback? Jeff Isaac says the following: good feedback on assessed work tells the students 4 things. Number 1, what are the good or successful features of their work? Number 2, what are the poor or less successful features of their work? Number 3, how can the student improve? And number 4, how the students might do better in the future. And good feedback is also timely. Provided too soon, it may stop the students themselves from reflecting on their work. Provided too late, it may no longer be salient.
Additionally, educational researchers have found that a teacher's immediacy of response can lessen the psychological distance between teachers and their students, leading to greater learning.
Some tips for providing effective feedback include responding to students' questions in a consistent and timely fashion, and providing a criteria or rubric for grading so that students know how they will be assessed. Additionally, when commenting on student work, use specific examples or the student's own words to clarify areas of strength or areas for improvement. Don't forget to utilize synchronous class meetings to give students guidance with major assignments and tips for success. You can also post announcements to address frequently asked questions or common errors that occur, providing resources as needed.
Building community is especially important in an online course where it can be easy for students to feel disconnected.
Siemens, in his 2005 journal article, stated that learning in the digital age relies on the connected learning that occurs through interaction with various sources of knowledge, including the internet and learning management systems, and participation in communities of common interest, social networks, and group tasks.
Additionally, Siemens also wrote that the level of interaction among students and between students and the instructor is particularly important in online instruction.
Practical strategies for creating a supportive community include establishing norms for student interaction, maintaining a positive and motivational tone when communicating with students, incorporating icebreakers so students get to know one another, being active in the discussion boards, and encouraging students to share resources. At the end of each week, consider providing a wrap-up or summary of key points for students. And at the end of the term, invite students to reflect on their journey and share key takeaways from the course.
Respecting diversity is key to an effective learning environment, and it goes without saying that each student brings his or her own unique experiences to any learning situation.
As Chickering and Gamson wrote, students are different from one another, and each of them needs the opportunity to show their talents and learn in ways that work for them. The tree diagram based on Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences illustrates the different types of intelligences that you want to keep in mind when approaching your students and designing activities.
It's important to keep in mind that an awareness of different learning styles aids in the instructional design and ultimately the retention of students in online courses. Additionally, exposure to different learning styles and perspectives increases a student's ability to adapt to real-world situations.
The first practical strategy is to assess for different learning styles and refer students to the Start Here button, where students can access a variety of resources provided by Brandman University. Also, provide easy access to recordings of lectures, lecture notes, and additional resources to appeal to different learning styles.
We have now arrived at our 7th and final strategy, engaging in best practices. In distance learning, the use of technology is secondary to the value of good pedagogy for course design and instructional effectiveness. We also can't forget that the environment most conducive to online learning is one that balances the interactions between the human players and the technology medium. By seeking out opportunities to stay current in best practices, you ensure that Brandman students are receiving the highest quality instruction with cutting-edge strategies.
So make sure to correspond with the course custodian regarding course changes before the term. If you have a suggestion to make the course better, be sure to share. And don't forget to attend CII trainings to stay current with Blackboard, our current LMS, and other course technologies such as Adobe Connect and Turnitin.
Thank you for joining us as we reviewed best practices for online instruction, improving student engagement. If you have any questions, ideas, or comments, please email us at cii@brandman.edu.
Okay. Hope that might have been a titch long for some of you, but there are a number of items or buckets that I think bring some things up that we should discuss. What are some of the practical strategies you learned from the video? What were some of the things about setting clear expectations that was important? What's an active online presence look like, or what should it look like? How do you go about feedback? You know, how is it going to be effective for you in your feedback? And then just the general bucket of best practices. So with that in mind, what were some of your thoughts of the video? And what are some of the things that we potentially need to do at Vista College that we're not doing?
This is Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hey, I like that the video talked about the bio and having a robust bio so that the students get, you know, at least a snippet of who you are. You'd be surprised how many students actually go out there and read the instructor's bio before the class will even start. And they'll even reach out to the instructor. So if you have not already done your bio, please be sure that you put a bio out there. And if you got a picture, she even mentioned a picture, you know, add your picture into your classroom.
Thank you. Yeah, I think relatability is very, very important for our students. And it just helps them to get to know you better when you're descriptive with your bio. So thank you, Tracy, for that. Some other thoughts? Neil, were you trying to say something? Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I just say just getting to know them, identifying with them as a working professional, working career person, getting to know what type of work that they do, that you can kind of critique some of the questions or some of the main points, objectives to them. Having a time set in the week for live one-on-ones, communications. I think that's something that maybe some of us are doing, or maybe some of us are not doing, but I think it would be something to add if we aren't doing. Creating an environment that is welcoming for them, to let them know that you're human, and you know, that you're actually there to support them.
Great comments. I just like to have your voice, Mark. Great comments. You know, I think we could probably do more with synchronous learning than we do right now. There are some challenges with that, as many of you know, that do run those courses like that in our programs right now, as far as some of our students not necessarily wanting to be on camera. You may notice that a few of you tonight are not real fond of being on camera either. So there are some elements of that that we need to discuss and figure out better ways to do things. But thank you for those comments. Other thoughts? Don't be shy. Speak up.
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
Yeah, one of my thoughts is the importance of bringing ourselves, our personal experiences into the course room. I think students learn so much from the experiences that we've had professionally, even personally. And if we can relate that to the course material, then I think it brings a certain realness to the material that we're learning. And it also makes us seem more real to the students. So I just think we need to put ourselves out there, and don't be afraid to be real, and don't be afraid to be open and relate your experience to the course material. They'll learn so much from you. And one of the things that I always tell my students also is that I learn just as much from them as they learn from me. And I encourage the sharing of personal experiences. And I even, ask a lot of open-ended questions like, tell me about that. Tell me about a time when, you struggled with reaching this goal. So just personal stuff and open-ended questions, and encourage the discussion and link the students together.
Thank you, Andra. I agree. For me, another way of expressing that might be to say, just be authentic, right?
Right.
Help people to
Absolutely. Just genuine.
It goes a long ways. In fact, who doesn't it go a long ways with? When people really do feel you're being genuine and authentic. And it's okay for you to express to them some of your own stumbles and failings. It just makes it more real for them and more attainable for them to get through the program. Thank you for sharing that.
Exactly. You're welcome.
Other thoughts?
Art, this is George.
Hi, George.
I like the idea of building a sense of community among the students. Of course, with our discussion board requirements, they have lots of opportunities to encourage one another through their responses, but also maybe as the instructor, connect the dots for the students, by saying, I see where student A responded to your comment in this way, just to link them together to help them see that we're all in this together. And also tailor the announcements, and things each week that, build that sense of community.
Excellent. Yeah, I think connecting the dots and being able to help people with the gap, where they are and where they want to go is critical to their success within our classrooms and, subsequently success out in the career field. Thank you. Other thoughts? Anything on the feedback piece that anyone wants to mention as far as how quickly we get back to them, how thorough we are in terms of what we say? Any thoughts on that?
Dr. Waller, this is Neil Salyer. That's something that really, that I have tried to do and tried to continue to get better at. And it's one of those things where I always want to start out by, telling them that I appreciate the time that they've put into it, whether it's the research or the actual getting in and actually writing their paper from the research, whatever that may be. And then once you do that, and once you show them that you have read what they've written or what they presented, then you can get into that critique and tell them, hey, I feel you were really lacking on certain parts. If you'd have been able to do that, then that's really where you could have hit a home run on this project. But again, I think it goes back to what everybody else said earlier. It's just connecting with them on a personal level and not providing canned feedback, letting them know that you are taking time with their material, that you're reading their material, and the feedback that you're giving them, that you're giving it to them to get better on the future projects or the future assignments.
Excellent. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate that feedback. Since we're on the subject of feedback. What else?
I had a thought on the time of feedback and like how quickly to respond. Just one thing that's really kind of affected me or influenced me, both as reflecting on how I teach online, how I learn online, and relating that to the students, is that I almost think you have to discipline yourself to say, all right, well, Monday morning or Monday afternoon or whatever fits with your schedule, you have to schedule an hour or two to say, I will be online, I will be doing this for sure 100%. I think it's very easy for adjuncts like myself who work full time, and it's easy to get home like, oh, Monday was a long, hard day. I can put that off until tomorrow. I'll wait to respond. But if we get in the habit and say, no matter what, just like any other responsibility, if I commit to being online and responding and giving feedback during this time, then that's something that's really helped me out in terms of being consistent. And then I flip that around to the student and say very, very much the same. We know you're working a lot, and some of you have families, and you're doing all sorts of things. It's so easy to have a long day where you're tired and to say, oh, I'll wait till Sunday, I'll wait till this weekend. But I keep trying to teach and model beyond, make time for yourself during the week to do this assignment, to do these activities, and create a routine that way. So that just helps me.
Yeah, that's great. I think, that's part of the establishing norms part, right? When we're going in and, hey, look, here's what I'm establishing for my own criteria for what I'm going to be doing in the class. And I'm hopeful that you'll do the same. And more interaction, better. The more times logged in and doing work, the better. So perfect. Thank you. What else? What's an active online presence look like to you? What does that entail?
Interactive.
Okay.
I think an active online presence, you're engaging with the students frequently. So you're posting in discussion a lot, you're responding to every student, you're sending out a lot of announcements, you're showing the student that you're present, you're available to them, and you're trying to help them through the whole course, and they don't feel isolated from you. Sorry, this is Jenny Mark.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Jenny. Yeah, it's already a struggle because you're not belly to belly with people. Make sure you're reaching out. Make sure you're responding on the discussion boards. Make sure, when people do email you, that you email them back quickly. Those are all parts of being effective in the classroom. Thank you. What else?
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry, Mark.
Oh, well, no, I was just go right ahead. I've already spoken. Go right ahead.
Oh, I just think, like I said, grading their work quickly, getting back to them quickly on time. I remember when I was in an online class in my master's, and I remember I had 3 weeks into my class, and the teacher hadn't graded anything I'd done. I'm emailing them, hey, am I doing it right? Am I doing what you want to do right? So I think it's important that we grade our their discussions, when the week's over, obviously, but if they turn a report in or their assignment on a Monday or Tuesday, hey, grade it on Wednesday. That way they know, hey, I'm doing good, and it kind of gives them motivated to do the work early next week.
Agreed. Thank you, Mark. Other thoughts?
I like highlighting students in the discussion area of their posting by doing a video so that others can see the work that a certain student has contributed. And that, at least in my classes, have helped in a lot of ways to motivate students to submit likable discussions or somewhat like discussions of what we're looking for in the class. It's basically just saying, hey, Robert Singtree has a great comment above. Everyone should read it. Great points here. Does anyone else have a similar comment? That drives a lot of participation, at least from my students that I have found welcoming.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the ultimate in terms of being a facilitator, a good facilitator, right? Of the knowledge. And then on the topic of facilitator, how many of you have watched our resident movie star Carson on his rendition of the Gradebook 2.0? I hope you've availed yourself of that, because there's a lot of great information in there about how you can facilitate better within your class.
I recommend it, Emmy, but I don't know where to send the information.
I'm sorry, send what information? Did I miss you on that, Mark? I thought you said something about sending information to dive.
Yeah, it was a broken joke. You asked what we thought of Carson's video, and I said I recommend him for an Emmy, but I didn't know where to send it.
Oh, I gotcha. So I'm sorry, I only got the back part of that. Well, I would just send it to his wife. I'm sure she would appreciate that. All right. Well, thank you. Any other thoughts? Any other best practices that you saw out of the video, or any other things that you think we should just be looking at, taking a look at, that could make us stronger in terms of our student engagement?
One thing I was thinking, I had the gap assessments, right? So week 3, week 5, week 4 have the Zoom, and then, week 5. And in week 4, there was just so much feedback of, it was, good for personal experiences, good for other stuff. And again, good meeting them. I'm thinking about just a welcome to the class Zoom meeting to begin with, so that has nothing to do with anything. It's just, let me meet you. It's not, dependent upon, them reading or me kind of understanding their discussion. But what about just welcome aboard. This is the class. If you want to come, that's great. If not, that's also good too.
I think it's a great idea. I make sure, I think most of you put a welcome video in terms of, this is the course, this is me, this is, I'm available. But I think any number of videos that get into different parts of how the course is going to be run, clarify any expectations you might have about how you personally like to teach and how you like to facilitate. I think any of those things, the added number of videos that you can use, and also talking about setting up specific times so you can speak to certain students if they're interested in that, whether it be with video or just over a conference call, either way, is a definite benefit to any number of different students that we teach within our programs. So thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, Keith. Any other thoughts before we move on to career readiness?
Art, I have a thought.
Yes, ma'am.
I am getting my doctorate degree, and it is weird because I'm very educated on this side, and you would think I wouldn't worry about instructor content at a doctorate level. But nonetheless, I have an instructor I've had before, and he has a routine. Yeah, I get excited. I know it is not directed at me personally. It is a blanket statement. But when he personally addresses me, it is huge. I don't need it, but nonetheless, I get excited over that. And I cannot tell any of you how much that means, even at my level. And we're dealing with students that need it more than I do. I cannot stress that enough for you guys. Just a little sentence, great post, or anything. It motivates and gets you going. And as far as grading, that's the most irritating thing, waiting for a grade. Did I do it right? Did I do it right? Tell me, give me that approval. You guys, you have no idea. I did not realize till I became a student again, even at a doctoral level. You have no idea how much that means. Hold on to that. You make a difference.
This is Sharon Turner. I'm doing my doctorate as well. And I can tell you, when I post my discussions, it really means a lot to me when my professor gets back and he makes a comment about, I really, captured the true essence of what the discussion question was. So yes, it does go a long way. I can relate to that as well. And I'm like you, the same thing with grades. You post your work out there, and you're just sitting there anxiously waiting to see what your grade was on your last assignment. So you have the material. So I understand, and I think I'm a little bit older than you, so I know how it feels.
But that's just it. Think about our students. This is their first opportunity to get that praise, and that makes it even larger in their world.
Yes, that's true.
Just saying.
No, great comments, ladies. Here's the bottom line. Unless you are an enlightened master, you want to be validated and recognized. So don't ever think that no matter how old you are or how much you've accomplished, that most people, the vast majority of us, want to be validated and recognized. So anything you're doing along those lines is of great help. Then take a look at how much it may mean to you, and look at folks that you're teaching who have had less validation and less recognition, and then you can see how absolutely huge it is for them. So a good thing that for us to be reminded of. All right, well, thank you very much for your feedback on the video, and no one mentioning that they were using Blackboard, which is a really gnarly system and a difficult one to use. So let me move on to career readiness. What are we doing? Well, one of the things that I just became more familiar with is some of our biggest, the biggest schools that are doing really, really well are really in the nonprofit space, and they're in the regionally accredited space. You probably have heard of schools like Grand Canyon, Western Governors, and Southern New Hampshire University. They're really quite doing well. And one of the things that they're really focusing on, along with being very, very active with their student advising, is they're talking to their students about career readiness. So we have been working for a number of months on getting more to that place. And one of the things that, a couple of the downloads that I got from visiting with those schools was they talk about getting students a credential that will get them unstuck, getting a better job, helping students earn a degree to gain them a better job is job one. And they don't want to do it or make it happen at the exclusion of everything else about what they care about in education, but they understand that it's a marriage of both learning and then being able to get those skills that are necessary to have a career and get better employment. And the last part was finding a way to allow the education to provide a path to opportunity. So we really want to be able to speak to that path to opportunity in every course, in every class, in every program. So in our admissions tour, if you don't already know it, we speak about career readiness being the focus from day one. We want to have it in every one of our courses from day one, and our orientation that they take day one, so that they understand all the way through the process that that's what we're doing. We're right now working on a career icon. So as you get into your individual course, you'll be able to tell what specific question or assignment is geared towards just their career, so that they can't possibly take their eye off that ball. I don't know if any of you have had children that have finally gotten to college or finally gotten to jobs. How many of them have really been working on their job before they get out of school? Well, the vast majority of them don't. They're in their last course and it just occurs to them that they actually have to go get a job. Well, we don't want that for our students. We want them to be thinking about it from day one, once they enroll with us. So that's what we're going to be working towards. And a big part of that whole initiative, along with putting a career readiness question and assignment into every course, right, for every program, is we've been working on redoing our career strategies course. And I'd like to go ahead and give the remaining time over to Kimberly to go over what that looks like right now. So Kimberly, over to you.
Thanks, Art. So partnering with Art and Career Services and using Pearson material, we developed a new career strategies course that totally focused on preparing the student to enter into their brand new careers. And so I'm going to share my screen so we can look at the course together. Okay, so the new career strategies course will roll out this March, and it's geared to prepare students for developing their resume, networking, developing their online presence, how to search online job boards, how to do local job research and to go out into the community and talk to potential employers. They actually have assignments where they'll go out and reach out and talk to employers about the potential jobs they want, so they can have a good idea of what is expected of them and what is in their community and what's available. Not only does that do that, but that puts their name and their face in that employer's, in their memory. So when they're ready to graduate or when they're ready to enter that job force, they've already created a presence. So the whole course is geared towards preparing them for that last step and getting them ready to enter into the job force. I'd like to show you a little bit about the Pearson material. It's very interactive. They'll be doing mock interviews and, like I said, developing a LinkedIn profile and resume. They'll also have practice material that they'll be able to walk through. It's non-graded, but it's engaging, and they can get in and walk through the process of getting to know who they are and how they fit into the career force, what characteristics they need in the career force. It also develops their soft skills as they work through this curriculum, because they learn how to respond to certain questions, how to dress during an interview, how to communicate business-wise, how to articulate themselves and do a elevator pitch about themselves. So it's a really exciting and fun and engaging curriculum, as well as very career focused. And that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. When is this course going to be offered in terms of their program? Is this meant to be delivered at the end?
I believe it's midway through their program.
Yeah, that's a great question, Susan. Good hearing your voice, by the way. We intentionally parked it in the middle of the program so that they're not waiting until the end to get some of those essential skills. So every single program now has it in the middle of its program.
Hi, I have a question. This is Mary. My question is, what if they don't want to go into the workforce, but they would rather go on and continue their education? Is there going to be a tie-in to that, or is it going to be something separate, or has that been given any thought?
Great question. So yes, it's quite okay for them to further their education, and we encourage them to do so if it's something that they're interested in doing. So many of our programs, we try to have some scaffolding where they can move from diploma to associates or associates to bachelor's. We have to be a little careful that we don't just do more than we need to in terms of educating them. If it really doesn't help them any better, get an entry-level position or get them a more enhanced position if they were to go to school longer. So as a career college, we need to be careful of that a bit. But no, we try to create a step ladder effect for programs, and we're constantly looking to get better at that. There's a couple of programs we still have to work on in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Was there a consideration or a look at both kind of industry as a perspective of career and then like Department of Defense or government? Because I think sometimes those resumes are quite different, and some of the interview panels are different and scoring and other stuff. So what kind of slice of the pie what was looked at for like resume and jobs out there?
Yeah, so in that regard, what we were finding in courses that we were teaching in the past, we would get a large variety of resumes that were produced out of the course. And then when career services got with them, they were still having to retweak and rework with some of those resumes. So what we've done is we're going to distill it down with templates that either speak to being in chronological order or it being skill-based, so that basically when Career Services starts working with our students, it's pretty much a resume style that they've already endorsed, and it's much easier for us to produce that type of resume. Students they'll be very, very creative to the point where they're actually doing themselves harm. So we've just tried to simplify it to that point. Good angle on the military or outside of industry type of thing. I don't think we really looked at that. Maybe Kimberly could speak to that, but I don't believe we really thought about that.
Well, the main resume style that the student will engage in this course is the functional style, just because it's just basic, and we're really just teaching them the components of a resume. I believe in the curriculum, it does expose them to the different types. So when they move forward and decide what career, if they decide to go into the military, perhaps that's something that Career Services could help them with. They will be engaging with the student at that point. So maybe that's something that they can discuss further with Career Services.
Yeah, I'll say, I mean, all the jobs for the Department of Defense are on usajobs.gov, right? So there's that spot that they would need to go to specifically. And one of the biggest tricks for hiring in the DoD is actually taking the job description, copying and pasting it, and then writing those specific terms in your own experience. Because there's keyword searches that actually pop going through the HR program. So the more words that they see that are very similar to what they've posted, they actually then like pull those resumes up to the top for interviews. So just being on like a lot of hiring panels and things like that, like if we want, the education to meet, the skills and then to get to the resume, like there's just specific stuff for the DoD that, we can focus on.
Well, there is a keywords component in this curriculum that addresses keywords specifically. It's a whole activity that the students will engage in.
And that would definitely, benefit, this is Ashley Robinson, it would benefit against, multiple programs too, because even on like USA Jobs, there's VA jobs that medical assistants and things like that can use. And they use that same keyword search system and stuff like that. So that would definitely benefit across multiple programs too.
Right. Great questions, guys.
Yeah, nice feedback. Thank you. Any other thoughts on the Career Strategies course?
I'm really excited. Kimberly, this is George. What credentials would the instructor need to be able to teach a course like this?
I'm going to let Sherry Clark answer that because I know that she's responsible for that area.
I would love to answer that. One of the things we looked for is people who have experience in either large corporations, or we have some recruiters. We're looking for people who worked in the HR field, helped people with our student base get jobs. We actually have right now we have 3 great teachers who teach this class. Corey Ellis works in the Dallas area at a Fortune 500 company in HR, hiring people. Jenna, who we just hired, as I told you, has tons of experience in working with resumes and working with our students who are very similar to ours. And Peggy Jones, who also teaches this class, is a recruiter. And she has helped many people write resumes, and she is she works with Legal Recruiter, and she works with some other businesses. So we have 3 great instructors for this class, and hopefully someday we'll need more as we continue to grow.
Thanks, Sherry.
Hi, this is Mary. I have another question. As we're getting the students ready and going through the Career Strategies course, has there been any thought towards partnering with an employer that can kind of give them the internship component necessary for them to go out and actually be employed full time?
Great question. So yes. We've hired an additional Career Services coordinator who actually does nothing but that, getting out, getting more and more employer partnerships, basically looking to connect our graduates with those employers. Can we do a better job of it and a more robust job of it? Yes. But we are in the process of doing that because we think it's essential to the success of placing our students.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Well, hearing none, I want to thank you all again for being out to this 444 meeting. Love the feedback today. We're grateful for your leadership. We're grateful for your hard work in our classes. Please always keep in mind the comments that were made today. They all are an accurate portrayal of what is necessary for us to be successful in that student engagement piece. We want to be known for that. We want to be known for career readiness. We want to be known for innovative curriculum. Those are the things that I think we can rest on. In the arena of higher education, there is nothing more important than what happens in the classroom. So we'll continue to want to improve in that area. And again, we're appreciative of your participating in our success. Have the rest of a good evening, and we'll talk to all of you very shortly. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.